What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of In the Wild. And today we have a very, very special episode. And I know some of you are probably saying, Rayshawn, you always say these episodes are special. But it's because today we are actually in Savannah at the campus of the Medical College of Georgia. So if you didn't already know, MCG has been in Savannah for quite some time, but they recently expanded to having a four-year campus here. And we're really excited because we're going to talk to Dr. Gray and Dr. Powell about all the cool things that you can experience if you are a medical student considering coming to MCG and especially coming to Savannah. And coming up later, we have, I want to say, soon to be groundbreaking news because we're talking to Dr. Theresa Gonzales, who is overseeing the campus for the Dental College of Georgia, because if you didn't know that, they'll be here too very, very soon. So we're in Savannah. We're going to be talking all things MCG, DCG, and who knows what else. So I hope you're ready, Jag Nation, because here we go. Dr. Gray, Dr. Powell, thank you so much for allowing us to be here in Savannah with you guys. We're so excited to talk all things MCG Savannah. But I would, I guess, start with you, Dr. Gray. How would you say for just first year being in Savannah, how has it been so far for you guys?
This has been such an exciting year for us. You know that Augusta University and MCG has been in the Savannah community for 40, 50 years. We've had our clinical students at the hospitals for a really long time. But last year in 2028, to have our first preclinical students who will complete all of their education here in Savannah was a really exciting time for us. And we just last week welcomed our second class of students, the class of 2029. We're so excited to have them here on campus. As we're filming this, the students are taking their first quiz. So we're hoping that all of them will make it through today and feel really confident about their future here, both at MCG and Augusta University.
So I guess for those who are unfamiliar, what would you say inspired the expansion from having just a clinical campus here to being a four-year campus?
Well, you know the mission of Augusta University and MCG is to train the future workforce in Georgia. And we're really excited about the opportunities that we have along the coast of Georgia to get our students involved and engaged in clinical learning. When they come to these areas and they start to practice with the physicians that are here, we know that they tend to stay in these areas. So our expansion to Savannah was so important for us to get more doctors to come and stay in this area. MCG trains more physicians than any other medical school in the state. So it's integral that we get these doctors into all of the areas, both in Savannah and also in the inland rural areas, so that we can get all of these students engaged in that type of practice, make them familiar with this, and then hopefully when they finish their training, come back to Georgia and practice with us here.
I love that. And Dr. Powell, can you talk a little bit about some of the, I guess, community or hospital partnerships that we have around here?
Yes, of course, it's growing. We started, so our partnership, a hospital partnership, is St. Joseph's Candler. They've been around for a very long time. I think there's some debate about the either second or first oldest hospital in the country.
Oh, wow.
So it's great to partner with them. They have clinics that are affiliates of that hospital that we partner with, like St. Mary's, Good Samaritans, that students have already been working with for during their clinical years, but now we've integrated our pre-clerkship students into those clinics as well. And we're really big on community-centered healthcare. So we're really starting, even at the first year, to integrate them into community service activities, patient advocacy, so working with different groups that are like the Sickle Cell Association of Savannah, also just a number of different community organizations around this area so that they can really understand how important it is to be a part of the community as providers. And it's integral to their training as well and to their education.
So for those who may be, I guess just in general, unfamiliar with the process of med school, like what does it look like from a student's first day to working in one of these sites?
Yeah, so we have moved to actually it started in Augusta. So in 2020, during the pandemic, we changed, we had a curriculum redesign. So we actually shortened the pre-clerkship phase where it's more of the didactic sessions. They're in class learning the basic sciences. They go through the different organ systems, but they're also learning clinical skills at the same time. So we shortened that phase so that we can bring them in the clinic earlier. So they're actually getting in the clinic 6 months earlier. So they have 18 months where they are taking classes in large group sessions, going through cases. We do a lot of case-based learning. And at that same time, if they're in that organ system, they're learning the physical exam for that organ system as well. And during that time, they're also out in the community. They're working and doing community service. They are working in clinics and gaining those skills and integrating into the community. And then by the time they finish 18 months, they start in their clinical rotations. So that was purposeful because we wanted to make sure that we were kind of doing it all at the same time. So the application of what they're learning is stronger when they are it's aligned at the same time. So with this push, I think that, we'll have students that are really prepared and clerkship ready. So once they get on those clinical rotations, they feel really prepared to, move into that next phase, and they can make all the connections, bring all the dots together. So yeah, I think it's a great push, and it's a way to really get them to understand the importance of why they're learning this, this pathway, right? So this is the clinical application of that.
That makes sense. And I guess for both of you, I'm just curious to hear your answers of what would you say makes the Savannah campus unique? Because MCG now has a couple of campuses all kind of throughout the state. Augusta, of course, is the main campus, but what would you say makes Savannah special?
So I think that the thing that makes any place special is always the people. And I think that we recruit some really excellent students who, as Dr. Powell mentioned, are really focused on the health of the communities, thinking about the health of the patient as a whole. And we're really excited to kind of take those students from the kind of beginning ideals they have, the type of person and doctor they want to be, all the way through that 4-year process. So it really does start with the types of students that we recruit, but our faculty are also very, very excellent. I'm very biased, so I'd say we have the best faculty and campus in the state. But I think our smaller class size allows students to really engage with the faculty. As Dr. Powell mentioned, we have a lot of small group and hands-on learning. I think that there's this misconception that students think I'm going to go to med school and I'm going to sit in a classroom all day. And our campus really isn't set up for that. It's set up for them to really start thinking about hands-on learning and what does this mean to the patient from day one. And I think that makes this place really special.
Would you say what would you say are some, I guess, achievements from year one that makes you the most proud?
It's always the students, right? So I feel like getting through that first year and having all of the students still smiling, still happy is an achievement, and I'm very, very proud about that. And all credit goes to Dr. Powell and her pre-clerkship team for holding hands, having tissues at the ready, getting everybody kind of through there. But I think, it's interesting. So we know that medical students lose some of the empathy that they have, some of the kind of care and concern that they had. They're going to go into medicine and they're going to change the world, right? And you start that first year and you lose that over the course of your training. Most of the time you lose that empathy when you go into residency training. And we kind of see this in literature where you get a lot of burnout as you go into residency. And so I think one of the things that's really important to us is to make sure that students don't forget the reason that they started. They started because they want to make changes or they wanted to help somebody. And I think the thing I'm most proud of is that our first year students still think that they can change the world, and they will.
I love that. What about you, Dr. Powell?
Yeah, I think the projects that they've brought forward just still continue to amaze me. I mean, we have ideas and we kind of set some partnerships up just like, oh, this may be a good route for you to go. Like we work with Living Vine, which is a temporary housing space for mothers in need. Also Thero's Place, which is for victims of sex trafficking. We also work with Department of Public Health, and they have some projects on that involve patients with HIV and adherence to these medications, and what are some of the barriers that lead to this adherence. And we also have several projects and initiatives with St. Mary's with their seniors that come. So some of our students started a chair yoga activity for them, and the seniors at St. Mary's love our students. They are always thinking about them, and when they have exams, they're like sending messages of wishing them well. And we also started an initiative to address the issues in Georgia for maternal mortality and just health outcomes for with pregnant moms. And so we started kind of a group called Mommy Mondays, and I'm really proud of the students for that because they are involved in the education portion and helping the women kind of adjust to where they are in motherhood and just giving them the tools, but also the educational tools, but also they're listening and learning and adjusting what we do based off of the concerns or the issues that the moms bring up. So I think they at first were like, will anybody come? Will anybody sign up? And we had 26 moms sign up.
Wow.
So we're really excited about where that project is going.
And what is that like for you kind of overseeing these projects with not only the positive response and the impact that the students get, but that they have and the community showing up for it? What is that like for you to see?
It's amazing. I mean, I'm from this area originally, and I never like thought that I would kind of be back doing and being as impactful as, you know, it's been. So this is really a dream come true to see our students, and we couldn't have asked for better students to come and bring these initiatives up and really listen to the concerns of the community and say, what can I do as a medical student to help? What can I do as a medical student to be better so that when I'm a provider, you know, I address these concerns accurately. Yeah.
And what would you guys say to a prospective MCG student, like someone who knows, I want to go here, but now they're trying to think about what campus they want to go to? Like, what would you say to kind of convince them or tug them a little bit to come to Savannah?
I think that our smaller class sizes and our supportive community environment really make it appropriate for a student who wants to get engaged and involved. I think that there are opportunities that they have here to start asking the types of questions that Dr. Powell brought up and really get engaged in the health of the community that are unique to Savannah. And also, Savannah is a beautiful place, so it's not a bad place to spend 4 years if they're interested in coming.
Yeah, we always kind of joke that Savannah sells itself. So I don't, you know, the area is beautiful. The people are, you know, coastal. So I think a little bit more relaxed from my perspective. But also just, that small community. I think all the campuses are great and offer different things. And you kind of have to see what is best fit for you and your type of learning and where you want to go in the future, too. Because what we want is for students to train here and stay here, right? So we want you to really feel the connection with the area. And we are working to continue to build that connection through MCG Savannah and really have it be a central place where community people and you know, business people and students, everyone is involved in the conversation to really help the community, right? So I think of course, I'm going to say it's great. Again, I'm biased, but I think it really just, you have to see if it's a good fit for you. And if just a smaller environment works for you, it's perfect. If you want to try something different, if you come from like a bigger institution and you really want that kind of more focused one-on-one learning, I can name my first year students by name, by face. Still working on the second year students, still working on the first years. You know, it's only been a week, but you just get used to that. So you really can't hide either. That's the thing. You know, we really, wellness is a big part of our curriculum and the experience here. So we make sure that we're checking in on students and they know that they can come to any of us at any time. And not to say you can't get that at other campuses, but we really know them well, and that's intentional because, you know, we are really concerned and care that they are having the support that they need along the way.
Yeah, I love that. And y'all are convincing me to relocate, become a first year med student. And what would you say what you would love to see happen, say, for this campus over the next couple of years, especially by the time the first class graduates?
So one of the things we're really working on and are excited about is expanding our clinical partnerships in the area. So we've had a longstanding partnership with Southeast Georgia Health System down in Brunswick. Again, I say coastal Georgia because our campus goes all the way from Hilton Head down to Jacksonville, so kind of the entirety of the coast of Georgia. And so any time that we can expand those clinical partnerships and get students into those hospitals, it's really exciting for us. One of the things Dr. Powell has done is really make opportunities in the pre-clerkship curriculum for students to connect with individual patients. So if you're learning a case on sickle cell, you're going to have an opportunity to talk to somebody from our community who has sickle cell and can kind of talk about what their experiences are. And so the more kind of clinical places that we get involved in that student's training, the different types of patients that they can encounter, the more better trained they are as they go into their residency program. So we're really excited about expanding those clinical partnerships.
Okay. And I guess before we wrap up here, because I asked you before about our prospective med students, but what would you say for other students who might be in high school in the area or just undergrad and they haven't really decided that medicine might be their pathway, but they're considering it. What would you say to those folks?
So I hope that they consider medicine. Medicine really is for everybody. We want the future of healthcare to look like our population. And I think that MCG does a really great job of making sure that the healthcare workforce meets the needs of the state. So they are welcome here. They have a place here. We do several open houses throughout the year and several opportunities for people to get involved even at a high school or a middle school level. And what is it like to be a physician? But get to know the med students around. Our doors are always open. Come by, email us, talk to us, and we can kind of set up a program so that they can get engaged and involved. And what does it take to be an MD? And if not an MD, healthcare is a team sport. Yeah. So Augusta provides a lot of training opportunities across the healthcare continuum. And so we're happy to connect them with those opportunities as well. So yeah, get involved.
Anything to add to that, Dr. Powell?
Yeah, I think just get involved. You know, anytime we're also open to give tours. We have a lot of people that kind of drop by and, you know, ask for a tour, but just contact us. And if they're just curious and interested to see what the next phase would look like. And our faculty and staff are always open to meeting and talking and advising with them. That, you know, and that's beyond Georgia Southern students too. You know, this is for students across Georgia. So yeah, I think just staying involved. Follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram page is very live. So thanks to Dr. Pauletta, our student affairs dean. But yeah, follow us on Instagram, see what activities and events that we're hosting and come by. We have a Forsyth Farmers Market. We have a clinic there for some weekends, some Saturdays. So that's another initiative that I think we're really proud of. So yeah, just even coming to those events and just asking questions of the students. They love to give advice and, you know, to the younger generation. So come by.
I love that. And thank y'all again for having us here. And for those watching, stay tuned because we got some more conversations coming up when we come back.
Hey, can I get I feel good?
I feel good.
Woo!
Hold up. Now do what you do. Get loud. Go ahead, get loose. Get down to business. Tell everyone nothing's off limits. You can have anything you want.
Hey, welcome to the Heart of Augusta Cycle of Soul City Tour.
Are you ready to become citizen scientists?
Welcome to Augusta. I'm Mrs. Wilson. Please come in.
This is the curated palette at West City Gallery.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Augusta's Promenade and Paint Tour.
Augusta, Georgia has become synonymous with golf.
Welcome to the Morris Museum. This is the rest of the story.
There's actually more to that story. Just saying.
Welcome, Time Detectives. My name's Cleo, and today we're going to take a trip through time.
This is Canal to Clock at the Augusta Canal.
Hey everybody, welcome to All Equal Parts.
Welcome, Dr. Gonzales, to In the Wild. We're so excited to have you because for our viewers watching this, we've popped back into the studio here. And so we're here to talk about the expansion of the Dental College of Georgia, and you will be the dean overseeing that campus. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going to be happening with the expansion in Savannah?
Well, first of all, thank you for the invitation, and it's a pleasure to be here. I couldn't be more excited about the expansion because that is exactly what it is. It is the brand and product that is the Dental College of Georgia, home-based here in Augusta, now pivoting 138 miles to the coastal empire where the growth is occurring, an opportunity there to educate generations of members of the dental workforce for the express benefit of the members of not only Georgia, but the contiguous communities. So I think it's an opportunity like none other, and I am just excited to be part of it.
And we're excited too. And for those who might be curious, and I guess you can expound on this a little bit because you kind of mentioned it, but why Savannah? Like, we have so many other cities in Georgia, but why do you think Savannah is like just the best place for us to expand to right now?
Well, I will tell you, there were a number of choices. I mean, I'm a very big fan of Atlanta and Augusta, where you're home ported now. I think Savannah, for a couple of reasons. So full disclosure, I'm a native of South Carolina and from Charleston. And what was really different for me growing up, sort of loving both Charleston and Savannah. And I've teased and said that Savannah has all the history and charm of an American southern city, and that of Charleston about half the pretension. So I'm a big fan of Savannah. But what is neat about Savannah is there is a lot of medical assets already on the ground in terms of the hospital system and the medical school now with its second class, that's Dean Gray's group, where I am home ported right now. But I think the real opportunity there is the growth potential in Savannah. And it is no secret to anyone along the coastal empire, essentially from the Eastern Seaboard to Louisiana, that some of the most underserved, most frequently underserved communities are along that sort of coastal empire area. So I think this would be good for those communities that have been historically underserved. I also think it has the population to provide experiences for the students. That's going to be important too. So you might think that you'd be inclined to go to a place that has a smaller population and have people commute there. That certainly does happen, and it happens now. But you're going to have a certain level of population to be able to provide experiences for the students in their education journey in healthcare.
So what does, I guess, that timeline look like for you guys to hopefully in the near future be welcoming students and having what I imagine will be the biggest ribbon cutting and all the welcoming events there. So what would that look like for you guys?
Well, I thought about that driving up, anticipating this question, to be fair, Rashawn. So today, if we T plus 34 months, we will be welcoming our first class. Along the way, there is the design of the facility, there is the build of the facility, there are about 430 implied different tasks that must be done to bring on the recruit staff and faculty for the program, and to kind of build the infrastructure for the expansion. So 34 months may seem like a long time, but when you consider the number of things that have to happen. So we're anticipating, and there's no reason to think that this won't happen if you look at the glide path, taking our inaugural class in 2028.
Okay. Which, like you said, it may seem far, but it's really a lot closer than we probably will realize.
Exactly. I felt more comfortable when I thought there was a wider window, but 34 months, and it depends on what's transpiring, but there are a lot of things that will, a lot of milestones that have to be met. We're meeting those predictably, some ahead of schedule, so a cautionary note, I don't take a lot of comfort with that, but we're on glide path to really do what was expected to be done. And we've had fantastic support from the community in Savannah and from our folks in Augusta who are overseeing this expansion for both the medical school and the dental school.
And speaking of the community, what does that feel like, seeing how the community is being welcoming to you guys as well of being there?
Well, the community has been, I'm not surprised by it, but I do reserve the right to be delighted. Very welcoming. And as a matter of fact, I often wear my Dental College of Georgia around when I run the campus, and people will stop me and say, when are you coming? When are you coming? And I'll say, well, as soon as we have a building. But in truth, I am there now, and I know the medical school just brought in their second cohort, so things are happening. We're getting to be community resources. Our students are integrating well into that area, and I think the community of Savannah and the surrounding communities are not only enthusiastic about our arrival, but have made every effort to welcome us to the community.
I love that. So I guess when you think about the experience that our students will have in Savannah, what, I guess, as the one who's trying to make all these things happen, like how would you describe what you want that experience to look like for students who say, I don't want to just go to DCG, but I want to go to DCG in Savannah.
In Savannah. Yeah, there'll probably be some just because Savannah's such a beautiful city, not to take anything away from Augusta, but it's such a beautiful city. Some will want to do that for the same reason they'll want to go to places like Charleston. I understand that, particularly for out of state. So I think that is nice. But I think there are folks in that community who would like to remain in that community to the extent they can, and hopefully that will translate into them practicing in the surrounding communities. So I think that Savannah has its own draw. As a matter of fact, anywhere I go in the world, and I tell them I'm currently living in Savannah, I've never heard an unkind thing said about Savannah. And that speaks volumes, I think, about the community. And I'm pretty lucky because everything I actually need in life is in Savannah. There's a Hunter Army Airfield because I'm a retired military officer. And now with a 4-year medical school and expansion of the dental school, a 4-year program, there is a full component of healthcare workforce to be delivered to the communities that are underserved, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, for sure. And so I ask a lot of our folks across campus this question, and considering how for you guys a new building will exist for you very soon. So if, money was no object and you just had all the resources, what would that new building for you guys look like if you could just put anything you want?
Oh, I appreciate that. So not resource constrained, it would be palatial.
Okay.
And I think we would try to do everything we can to tie it into the architecture of Savannah, paying a lot of attention to the sort of artistic temperament that is the Savannah College of Art and Design. If that were no object, I think even with resource constraint there's no reason not to be able to deliver on the promise of a well-done building. I think the Georgia Southern University campus has a traditional campus part of red brick and has some tabby and some things that are sort of tie it into the coastal architecture. But I think both things can be true. I think it will be, and I've seen that in recent builds they have, I think having this sort of beautiful structure on this 286-acre campus. Can you imagine having a situation where you have this enormous campus? It's about the size of the National Institutes of Health campus.
Oh, wow.
And it really is beautiful. And you'll see people out every day running that campus and walking that campus and going to student success centers. So I think it's the best of all worlds in terms of the footprint that it would occupy on that campus. And I run by the build site at least 3 or 4 times a week just to get an idea, just to kind of get a glimpse of what it might look like. And I've got a pretty good idea, and I think we'll be able to deliver on that.
Is there any, technology or any other factor that you would like to see in this building?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because I will tell you, there's nothing about the practice of oral health care that is the same as it was when I graduated. It is very digitally intense practice. I think anyone who's been to a contemporary practice knows that there are a lot of demands in terms of the technology. That is being baked into the design, of course. And I think our students, as they do at DCG, Augusta, they will have an experience with traditional forms, but also at leading-edge technologies. Preparing them, taking your first class in 2028 means you graduate your first class in 2032. And so we're kind of ever mindful of what the practice of dentistry will look like in 2032 as well, because we want to be able to bring that into our communities of care to provide the experiences that they anticipate.
And I guess what are some of the trends or things that you're kind of on the lookout for for what dentistry might look like in the 2030s?
Well, I think most of the folks who are seeking care have very high dental IQs. They know what they want. They know what they do not want, and they want it rather efficiently too. So that's where the mobilizing technologies from the 21st century technologies will help deliver on the timeline. It's an interesting thing, that sort of classic American smile, that sort of beautiful appearance. People are very demanding of their appearance in general, but specifically dentition. It makes such a change in lives, and I think anyone who's ever gone through orthodontic therapy or had a major renovation understands what it means. I think what is different about, and that's always been true, that's not new, but what is different is the expectation of getting it in real time. Because these are competing demands, right? People want a functional dentition, they want it to be aesthetically pleasing, and they want it to be a quality of life enhancement as well as a wellness initiative. So we are lucky in oral health care to have spent years in prevention, and now we can spend some energies and efforts on prevention plus, and kind of deliver on the demands the public, and I think appropriately expects.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So with all of the things that comes with expanding our campus to Savannah, if you had to name maybe one part that makes you the most excited, what would you say? Because I know, as you said, there's a couple hundred tasks that you got to complete before we get to the opening, but what would you say excites you the most?
Well, I think the interest by the Savannah community in participating as faculty at the dental school. I have been on board now for about 11 months, and I will tell you that I have about 30 individuals who've contacted me personally, and Dean Young probably has another list of people who've contacted her, people who are interested in either from the Savannah area or people who are planning a Savannah launch as being faculty there. And that's unusual because the trend, dental school faculty are hard to come by. But when people contact you are looking for them, many of them are providers who are well known in those communities, who are looking at it sort of transitioning into academic healthcare. And the answer was, that's the talent we're looking for. They've served those communities well for so long, and now they'll be serving in essentially the educational journey of our next group of providers, of the next iteration of the workforce. So I think what excites me is the enthusiasm of the providers and practitioners in Savannah and surrounding areas to participate as faculty in the school. I hope that will be true of staff as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess if you had to narrow it down, like for what type of faculty member would you be looking for? Like what would make the perfect faculty for DCG Savannah?
I think the practicing community always does, because clearly that's most of those are academic progeny from the Dental College of Georgia. So the brand, yeah. So they're kind of they have that background. I think the community has relied on these folks for years, and there is really no substitute for 30 years or so worth of experience in the community where you live and practice in terms of teaching the next generation. So I think we could leverage that skill. And I think that's what I'm excited about, because I'm under no illusion it will be easy to recruit faculty, but the response thus far gives me great hope and encouragement that it will be doable.
I love that. And before I let you go, for any, I guess, prospective dental students who haven't made up their mind yet about where they want to go, or maybe what specialty, or if they just want to be a general practitioner, what would you say to those prospective dental students right now?
Well, writ large, from the community writ large, I would say have Georgia on your mind.
Okay.
That'd be first, because I think it's one of the best values in dental education. And I know that for a fact, having taught at other universities. I also am very familiar with the Georgia product. As the 30 plus years I would spend in military service, many Medical College of Georgia, Dental College of Georgia graduates came through the hospitals and military assignments where I was located. The brand is good. So I would say is be true to your brand, have Georgia on your mind. I think that it's one of the best values in education, and that's going to become increasingly important. And secondly, I am confident the education you get at the Dental College of Georgia, whether it's Augusta or Savannah, the education you get will tee you up for success as a provider for the communities we are privileged to serve.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzales, for talking to me. And for those who might be curious about Savannah, especially DCG Savannah, check them out, because I'm sure there'll be more and more information in the coming months until you guys are all open and ready to go.
Exactly. We intend to flood the market with information about the possibilities of Savannah for Georgians and beyond.
Well, thank you again, Dr. Gonzales.
Thank you, Rashawn.
All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed that episode. I certainly did. Thank you again to Dr. Gonzales, Dr. Gray, Dr. Powell for talking to me about all things in MCG and DCG Savannah. And I hope you guys, even if you aren't considering dentistry or medicine, come explore this campus. It's beautiful. It's great. The city is great. As both of them said, Savannah sells itself. So I hope you get to check us out here very soon. Tell us what you think about the Savannah campus. And until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Go Jags!